Hello and welcome to Joy News Desk with me, Mamiesi Nyamiche Thompson. Coming up this hour, more than 600,000 candidates took this year's BECE. We're live as some candidates are optimistic about a successful exam.
Very optimistic that we are going to pass this examination because I believe without a shadow of doubt that we have the best of teachers.
Competing is in our mind. It's our daily bread. Oh my God!
And staff and students of Ghana Lebanon Islamic Secondary School fear for their lives after Accra slum dwellers issue threats of alleged involvement in attempts to demolish newly reconstructed slum.
They gathered in front of the school and then they started issuing threats to the school that it is the school that has gone to instigate and then asked that their structures should be demolished.
We have details as the Parent-Teacher Association mounts pressure on Greater Accra Regional Minister to ensure illegal structures built beneath pylons are demolished and occupants cleared. Also on our desk, we've got climate focus. A young man is providing a clean alternative to charcoal and firewood to significantly reduce air pollution, mitigating its impact on both human health and the environment.
Efforts are not only beneficial to individuals but also contribute positively to the country. Looking ahead, I firmly believe that within a decade we can significantly reduce the country's reliance on firewood.
We've also got some business updates on our desk. Stay for details. We'll be right back. Now, more than 600,000 candidates are sitting this year's Basic Education Certificate Examinations, BECE. A statement from the West African Examination Council says this figure is made up of some 297,000 males and 306,000 females. In all, there are more than 20,000 participating schools. Here are extracts of wide statement, and we'll bring you that shortly on your screen. We'll also check with our correspondents next for updates on what's happening. But first, let's start from here in the Greater Accra region. Some students are hopeful that their preparations will yield their desired results. They've been speaking with Adobia Azari.
Earlier, when I was engaging some of the students from Crown and Glory, they were so hopeful. There's no iota of nervousness. They're excited. They're going up and about. I spoke to one Malaika. She happens to be the head girl of the school. Is Malaika here? Yes. Hi, Malaika. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
So, tell me exactly how you're feeling this morning.
I'm feeling hopeful because I always put Isaiah 41 verse 10 in my mind because the Lord said He will help us. So I'm feeling hopeful that we'll all pass our BC this year.
Not nervous, feeling normal, 100% prepared because we learned, so we are here to deliver.
So this is a 1-1-1 for all of you?
Yes.
Oh, beautiful. So that's from Kim Edwards.
Very prepared about competing. In fact, our teacher is one of the best teachers in this whole region.
Okay.
Our teacher, he has prepared us very well. Competing is in our mind. It's our daily bread.
Oh my God. Congratulations in advance. Okay, so Rose Fair. I have Rose Fair. How are you feeling? Oh, I'm not getting your energy. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
What measures have you put in place that is making you believe that you really blow this paper?
Well, we've really prepared and we are praying to God that we will pass. And we have, whatever our teachers have taught us, we have kept it. We have also taken advice from our parents and we know we are going to pass this BC.
I am very optimistic that we are going to pass this examination because I believe without a shadow of doubt that we have the best of teachers. They teach from both their heads and from their heart, and they teach us to our understanding. I want to talk to you about examination malpractice. You know, over the years, we've been recording cases of examination malpractice. What do you have to say about it? And do you see any of your students indulging in that?
That is quite a difficult question to answer. As to whether I envisage some of our students engaging in that, the future is yet to be experienced. However, considering the fact that we have taken them through a lot, there has been a lot of preparations. I do not think that any of them is harboring the feeling of engaging in any form of examination malpractice.
Well, let's head to the Upper West region where Rafik Salam is standing by. Rafik, what's the update from where you are?
The news from the Upper West region is that a total of 14,733 candidates are taking part in this examination. And then also here in the one municipality, we have 12 centers. And so this morning, the 12 centers, the Upper West Regional Minister moved to see for himself the level of preparedness of this candidate and also to give them some kind of motivation for them to excel in this examination. And so this morning, he went to the Senior High Technical School first, where he spoke to the students about the need for them not to engage in any form of exam malpractice, and also to urge them that looking at people like John Dramani Mahama, the President, Vice President John J. Nana, and then also Speaker Alban Babin, and he included the minister and a host of other people who are out there. They are the people that they should look up to, and then they serve as their role models so that they should go into the examination and then really excel. From there, the minister moved to the Senior High School, where he also interacted and also spoke with some of these candidates, and then also to at least to urge them on for this examination. He told them that at least majority believe that majority of them will get at least the extension and also and then they will get a good grades for the examination. And then
we seem to have lost Rafik there. Let's go to the northern region and speak to Martina Bugri. Martina, you're on it. Okay.
Due to the
Let's finish with Rafik. Rafik, you're finishing up. Did you even hear from the children how prepared they are for today's papers?
Yeah, they were really excited. They were really excited and says that at least after preparing for close to 3 years for this examination, they are happy that the day is really here, and they are hopeful that they will block the extension for this exam. So they are really somehow in high spirit, and they think that you'll be able to sail through.
Right. Thank you so much, Rafik Salam from the Upper West region. We go to the northern region and speak to Martina Bugri. Martina, how many schools have you visited and how are the children prepared for today's papers?
I have visited 2 centers. They are grouped in 128 centers, which houses several schools in these centers. I was at the Ghana Senior High School Center, where one of the deputy Director General of the GES just spoke to the students, addressing them before they went into the hall. Dr. Ishak Menawara said the children should look up to what they have studied, concentrate on the papers they are going to write, and he believes that with the hard work they have put in, they would excel. But he also cautioned that exam or practices would not be tolerated, especially with their supervisors. He said that it could cost them their job if they were found cheating or helping the students to write the exams. Some of the students I spoke to were excited that at least they have the opportunity to write the BECE, which will give them a step into further their education. And so they are excited. Now, the northern region is presenting over 35,000 candidates, with about 18,000 being male and then 17,000 plus being female.
Right, Martina, grateful for that update in the northern region. We head to the Buna region with Anas Sabit. Anas, are you with us? Yes, let's go.
Yeah, so the Buna region is fortunate to have the education minister himself, Haruna Idrisu, to have kick-started the monitoring of this exercise from our region. First, we started from the Techiman Senior High School, where the minister encouraged the candidates to believe in themselves, as well as, stay away from all, forms of examination malpractices, which, according to him, would, damage their futures as well as their integrity. He also observed quite some anomalies in relation to the licensing system of the various examination centers or halls, as well as the state of the furniture, which he himself alluded to the fact that the ministry would have a lot to do to enable them put up the best of furniture for pupils across the country. So in all, we are expecting over 20,000 candidates writing here. But we may want to listen to what the education minister Harun Idris has been saying when he met the candidates here in Techiman.
Our students who have gone through training and the basic education of the Ghana Education Service. I'm accompanied by the Buna Regional Minister, Director General of GES, the head of the Inspectorate Division of the Ministry of Education. We are here to convey hearty encouragement and best and good luck wishes to our BECE students across the country, numbering 603,000 who are undertaking these exams from today, the 11th to the 17th of June. An important milestone in their academic life and journey. We're encouraging them to have faith and trust and confidence in themselves and what they have learned over the period, and to consider exam as a normal process. It is just to test the knowledge and skills they have acquired over the period. There must be zero tolerance for exam malpractices across the country. And these young children represent the future and wealth of our country, and they need to grow with integrity. Let no one of them be associated with any exam malpractice. We also would want to encourage the West Africa Examination Council to be very timely with the delivery of exam papers and other logistics in order that the exam can start on time and end on time, no matter the location of the exams. This morning visit with the regional minister, supported by the Director General, have exposed us to what government must urgently be looking at. One, the lighting system in the classroom, not good enough. And then the state of furniture in some of the schools, indeed in most of the schools, is in very deplorable state. Government will respond appropriately and timely to this request. Thank you.
So, Anas, I mean, you've been interacting with the candidates. How do you gauge their mood before they entered the centers to write?
Well, from the centers we have visited, these candidates are quite excited. Most of them have heard of the education minister, Harun Idris. So seeing him for the first time was a sort of a motivation, became a sort of motivation for most of them, and they seem poised. They are quite confident and they are happy that he is in town to, encourage them or motivate them. And from what I'm seeing, they feel gingered and they are quite, ready for the, entire exercise. And we are hopeful that the issue of exam malpractice, which is recently in the news, with the Buna Region also leading the charter from what we know recently from WAEC, we are hoping that his visit will help curb that particular anomaly.
Thank you so much, Anas Sabit in the Buna and Buna East regions. We also have on the line Ivy Setoji in the Volta region, and also John Kapi from WAEC joining us in this conversation, as well as Peter Anti. We'll come to John Kapi and Peter Anti shortly, but let's get an update from the Volta region. Ivy, what can you report?
If you can hear me, I was at the Sokode Senior High School where two students were reported pregnant. One was absent. We were told she relocated but couldn't come back. And then one other student had a special need. They will have to tap her or maybe ask her to start something before she starts writing. Other than that, she cannot do that. So there, everything was going on well except that particular girl. And also one student reported sick, but was able to come to the exam hall. So the supervisor and the invigilators were trying to make sure that he was okay. So aside the pregnancy, the special sudden there, the student, a boy, had that particular center, everything is going on well. Other centers too, students are well prepared. The Mater Ecclesia School, that's the Catholic school in Sokode, the headmistress is very confident in her children or the students will be coming out and flying colors. So for now, we are monitoring other schools to see what is actually happening.
Right, Ivy, thank you so much for that update. Well, we can now listen to John Kapi and Peter Anti on the BECE ongoing as we speak. Let me start with you, Mr. John Kapi. It's been quite a run to this very moment where the students are writing issues with logistics and what's not. What's your own assessment of today's, examination?
We were able to dispatch all the logistics to the examination centers before today. And so this morning we've been monitoring, and so far we haven't received any notice of any delays in any of the areas across the country. So as for now, as we speak, there hasn't been any complaint from any quarter. So we believe that things are moving on smoothly.
Integrity of the examination. People have raised issues about cheating, paper leakages, but thankfully it's not happened this time around. However, I'd like to know from you, in terms of security, invigilation for this year's BECE, what has been the measures that have been put in place?
Well, we held some stakeholder engagements across the country in April and May. We rounded it up on June 4th here in Accra, just trying to draw people's attention to the magnitude of the problem and the need for us all to come together to fight it. As we speak, we have done extensive education of all our supervisors, all the district directors. We've held sessions also with regional directors of education. So we believe that all of them are in a position to assist us, solve this problem. Beyond that, we have also been in collaboration with our security services. The police have been invited to help us. We've also invited the NIB. I've met a few of them within the Accra metropolis this morning. They're also doing the monitoring. We have also our own locally trained security who are in the field, and then staff of the council. So national security is equally on. I listened earlier to the interview with the minister. So the minister is out there, Director General is also out there, staff of GS are also out there. So we are increasing our presence around most of these examination centers to ensure that sanity prevails in the conduct of the examinations.
Well, somewhere last year there were concerns about, government owing WAEC. Had to do with also how you are going to prepare for the BECE and even the senior high school examinations. Are you adequately funded such that there will be no issues with marking scripts and getting the results ready in time for the candidates?
Yeah, we have a calendar of activities, and so far we've received enough money for the conduct of the examination. There have been assurances that there will be further releases. As I spoke with the Director of Finance yesterday, he was pressed to some further updates that will come to us regarding the examination. So we believe that if all the promises made are fulfilled, we would be able to keep to our timeline and release the results at the appropriate time.
So far, how much went into this preparation? How much did you spend?
Well, that would be difficult to tell because I don't have the figures in front of me. Right. I'm out monitoring the exams. Okay. But what I know is that we have had adequate funds that have enabled us to cure the stationery for the exam, as well as the printing exercise. We've also been able to send efforts out there for the exercise.
Well, before I come to Dr. Peter Ante, I just want to ask you, with candidates with special needs, what were the measures provided to make writing this exam easier for them? I mean, we just heard from the Volta region that there's this particular candidate who was having some difficulties at some point in time. But were there special arrangements made for students with special needs?
Yes, we made adequate arrangements. Now, this is what happens. Usually, in the process, during the process of registration, we ask that exams officers in all the districts across the country inform us early enough about candidates who have special needs, the nature of the needs that they have, so that we make preparations for them. Braille is something that we have done over the years. Now we have some who have cerebral palsy. There are others who have, though we have almost hearing impairment, where we have come in with a kind of assistance to be able to, their lungs and then guide them right examination. So we make provision for all these people. If there are some that have not been taken care of, then it means that those people's data didn't get to us early enough for us to make that provision. I'm yet to know the details about this particular candidate, and we'll see how what we can do going forward. I listen, and I'm going to call the branch controller and find out exactly what the problem is and how we can solve it.
And you also say that the private candidates, this is the last time they'll be examined on the old curriculum. Could you explain further on what will happen next year if private candidates are to write?
Well, so for last year, we made them write based on the old syllabus because some of them may just have completed BECE. This year, again, we are doing that. So for 2 years, at least those who were in JHS2 and JHS3 would have had the opportunity to be examined. All things being equal, we believe that by next year, which will be the 3rd year into the new curriculum, everybody would have adjusted themselves with, so we will still to examine them, the old syllabus, to all have the new curriculum.
If you could reposition yourself for me, I lost you there on your last statement. If you could repeat that for me.
Okay, so what I said was that we have had those who were probably in Basic 1 and Basic 2 given the opportunity last year and this year. Our estimation is that by this time, everybody would have been acquainted with the new curriculum, and so they would be ready to write the examination on that come next year.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. John Kapi. He's Public Relations Director of the Public Relations at WAEC. And also joining us is Dr. Peter Ante from the Institute of Education Studies. Dr. Ante, we're grateful for your time on our desk this morning. You have raised some concerns about BECE just, I think, a day before the examination rolled out. What really are your concerns?
Thank you very much, and good morning to your listeners and viewers. First of all, I want to wish the candidates very good exams, and I would pray that we will not have any incidents of malpractice involving teachers and invigilators and the students themselves.
We pray so too.
Yes, I think that it's been 35 years since we instituted this BECE exam, and I think that it is time we take a second look at it. Ideally, we really did took a second look at it when we were introducing the standard-based curriculum. So if you look at the National Pre-Tertiary Assessment Framework, we introduced certain elements in it that were supposed to help us measure the implementation and the extent to which the competencies in the standard-based curriculum would be achieved. Unfortunately, we've not been able to implement fully those models that we have in our pre-tertiary assessment framework. And I'm thinking that after 35 years, where we see the BECE evolving from being used for certification and placement, now being used for only placement, and the extent that we even now don't have the cutoff point to creating again, where we want every child to get to the senior high school as the basic level of education that the child in the country should attain. I think it's time we rethink the the use of the BECE in terms of its model and the modalities that surrounds its implementation. And I was hoping that the National Education Forum would have addressed this based on the recommendations that they made. But if not, we need to revisit this conversation and look at the plans that we have for examination at the pre-tertiary level and see how best we'll be able to use that to place the students appropriately more than relying on the BECE.
So it's interesting that you release these concerns at this time. Is it not too late to raise these concerns at this particular time when they're actually writing the paper? I thought it should have come early with these concerns you're raising.
Yes, the first thing we need to understand, these are not new concerns. These are issues that we've talked about over the years, and it's not gotten the kind of attention that it needs to get. I was thinking that during the period where the whole country is talking about BECE, we need to revisit that conversation of using a 1-point data to place a student as compared to what the original assessment framework envisaged, or by using a 4-point data in placing a student. And maybe if I can explain.
Exactly.
So the assessment framework envisaged that the student will write what we call the National Standardized Test, the NST, that the previous government implemented it poorly. And that assessment test, that standardized test, was supposed to be written at 4 times during the life of the student. So he writes one at Basic 2, another at Basic 4, another at Basic 6, and another at GHS 2. That gives the education administrator 4 points data to be able to profile the ability of the student and help place the student at a level and then a program that the student's ability fits in. But we've not been able to do that. We've not been able to do that. We have not been even able to implement the NST as it's supposed to be implemented. But if you look at the BECE, it's just a 1-point data. So you sit for the exams and imagine what happens within this week. If you are a brilliant student and you fell sick within this period and you don't do well, that is it for you. If somebody gets into the exams room and is able to get help, that is it for the person. The person gets a good grade and gets a good school. And that is even why the malpractice is eminent, because everybody wants to get his first choice. And you cannot get your first choice by just performing anyhow. So people will devise ways and means to be able to pass and then get their first choice. So you are relying on only 1 data point to place the student. Meanwhile, you had an assessment framework that recommended that you rely on a 4 data point. That will be comprehensive enough for you to profile the student, and based on that, you will be able to place the student. And I'm asking that why haven't we tried to institute that? Even if it is difficult, can we have maybe a 2 or 3 data point for assessing the rare ability of the student, instead of relying on the BECE that is written within 1 week, and after that, the student's ability to assess a good secondary school is determined by that. That's the conversation I think we need to have.
And have you heard from teachers or even parents, sharing these views with you and are willing to go through these processes? If government should initiate these 4 data point system that you are talking about.
Yes, I do talk a lot with teachers, and I know that we've gotten some engagement with some parents too. I think that the right forum to have addressed this would have been the National Education Forum. I've not seen their recommendations, so I'm just open to whatever they said about
at that point where they were receiving, views from the public, you could have forwarded your views to them.
These views were made available to them. But of course, there are a lot of them that they receive. What I'm looking at is what is the recommendation that they made about the future of the BECE. And I think that would be very critical. If not, then we will need to have this conversation again and then push for the ministry to really look at the interesting thing is that the NST has been implemented in a way that does not reflect what it was originally designed to do. So all that the ministry needs to do is to go back to the original implementation plan and then start implementing the NST. And if that is done very well, within some few years, we'll be able to phase out the BECE and rely solely on the national standardized test, which is designed comprehensively to even measure the competencies in the standard-based curriculum. I dare say that even the current form of the BECE is not competent enough to measure the competencies that are enshrined in the standard-based curriculum. And I think these are things that we will need to have a very good conversation around and see how best we'll be able to ensure that students' ability is the foremost determinant of their placement and not a one-off exams that anything can influence at the end of the day.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Peter Anti from the Institute of Education Studies. We stay a while longer on education-related issues. Staff and students of the Ghana-Lebanon Islamic Secondary School live in fear, following threats on their lives by illegal slum dwellers at the Ekomog area at Kwame Nkrumah Circle. Attempts by the Regional Coordinating Council to demolish the slums and the grid-core pylons last week was halted for logistical constraints. School authorities reveal firearm exchanges that have ensued among the slum dwellers have caused panic among learners. There's more in this report.
On the illegally constructed wooden structures sitting beneath the electricity pylons, red paint has been used to mark them for demolition by 2nd June 2025. Though there isn't any construction going on, those who have settled don't look perturbed by the notice. On the day for the eviction last week, the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council moved in for the purpose but had to halt the demolition. Secretary for Akumubin Institute, Abdulrahim Mohammed, explained it took police intervention to ensure safety of their students after the exercise.
The machine that was to be used also delayed. But then as the activity was going on, we learned that some political forces came in and instructed that the work should be stopped. They gathered in front of the school and then they started issuing threats to the school that it is the school that has gone to instigate and then asked that their structures should be demolished. So they are warning the school and that henceforth the school is not safe, and then they are going to be they will attack the staff and also attack the students. The school quickly went to the Adabaka police station. They reported. The commander followed them here and then had an engagement with the leaderships of the people. Then on Wednesday at night, there was some sort of altercation between themselves, those who have erected the illegal structures, and then there were even gunshots around the school.
And a safe distance from the pylons is the Ghana-Lebanon Islamic Secondary School, which has existed for about 2 decades. According to authorities, series of robberies have been recorded in the school since the slum sprang up. Mr. Mohammed is worried about the illegalities being perpetrated in the slum.
If it has gotten to an extent that these people can even be using guns in this area, then it means that the school and then the environs and the children that are studying here are not safe, because God forbid if there is a stray bullet that goes to hit any of the staff or even a student, then it means that a life is going to be lost. So therefore it's a matter of urgency that government should take immediate steps to ensure that these people are cleared from this area.
Over the years, attempts have been made to demolish the structures in the area, but have proven futile. Few months ago, fire ravaged the area, a situation many thought would end the existence of the slum. The Ghana Grid Company Limited issued warnings and restrictions on construction under the pylons following the fire outbreak on June 5, 2024, but little has been achieved. The Akumubin Institute is mounting pressure on government to halt the illegalities.
Well, let's speak to Abdul Rahim Mohammed. He's a member of the school's PTA. And Abdul, we're grateful for your time on our desk. Has there been any temporary solution to the situation where students can feel safe to learn?
Thank you very much. Up till now, we've not heard anything from any of the agencies. We are still calling on them to do the rightful thing so that our students can be safe, and then the staff of the school can also be safe. We are all doing this to help protect the Ghanaian child and also safeguard their education for the future. So as at now, yes, but then when we petitioned initially in January, we were later called by the coordinating council, and then they engaged us. And then they assured us that something is going to be done about it. And as we indicated that last week, Monday, they took steps to start the demolition exercise, but then it was stopped. So afterwards, the gunshots and then the altercation that took place between the slum dwellers themselves, has really put us in a state of fear and anxiety. So we are really pleading for the authorities to do the needful and clear these people away from the area.
So did you make complaints to the police, or who did you complain to about the situation, and what have they said?
Yeah, so our initial petition was in January, on 22nd of January to be specific, 22nd of January 2025. We petitioned the Ministry of Education, we petitioned the Ghana Education Service, we petitioned the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council, we petitioned the Greater Accra Police Command, we petitioned the Ghana Railway Authority, we petitioned AMA, and then we petitioned BRA as well as ECG. So we felt that these authorities have a stake in that environment. And for that reason, we drew their attention. I remember that after we petitioned the Greater Accra Regional Police Command, the commander invited us. I went there, and then we had a discussion. And then the commander told me that once the AMA or the assembly is ready for the demolition exercise, they are also ready to provide security.
So if I understand you well, it's the assembly that began the demolition exercise.
It's the regional coordinating council.
Right. But then they stopped along the line.
Yes, they stopped along the line.
Did they give reasons why they stopped?
Well, per our investigations, we got to note that some politicians were behind the stoppage. And quite frankly, the director of the school also went to the regional coordinating council and then met with the minister. And the minister gave assurances that what happened was that there were some level of miscommunication between the council and some political representatives of that area. And that's why the process stopped. But then she gives the assurance that the exercise would continue, but we do not know when the exercise is going to continue. And we became even more alarmed when after that they came to issue threats, and also on Wednesday at night when there were exchange of gunfire, around the area. So it is alarming. We are concerned, and then we feel terrified. So we want our children to study in a more comfortable and safe environment.
So would you say that it's a situation where these Comark slum dwellers are encroaching on school lands and practically evicting you from the place?
Well, the land they are occupying basically is not the land of Islamic Ghana Lebanon.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, the land is the land under the BRE pylons, which is a threat to human life, and then also it is not even up to 20 to 30 meters away from the school, and most of the times our students get harassed on their way to the school, because the school has two gates, one in front of the railway line, and then another to the Ghana, the Accra Digital Center. it is more comfortable for students to alight at Circle and then access the main gate that is in front of the railway line. But because of fear and panic, most of them would have to walk for a distance of about 15 to 20 minutes before they access the school. So imagine if a child would have to go through this stress before they get to school, and then how the psychological to be, or they get to school and even learn. Our students have in the past been robbed of their phones and other things, been sexually been harassed, and this is not going well for the society. And even at night on Fridays, they engage in what they call naked jams.
So what will be your next line of action now? I mean, you've petitioned these institutions, but haven't gotten any meaningful response. What then will you do?
Well, we will still continue to engage them. We will continue to mount pressure. We will continue. We believe that government knows that it is their responsibility to protect lives and properties, and in this regard, they are going to do the needful. But then we do not want the situation to linger on for a longer period of time, because majority of these people do not care what they have to lose. We care about what we have to lose. So as it lingers on for a longer time, then the situation, our students and then our staff are not safe.
Thank you so much, Abdul Rahim Mohammed. He's a member of the Islamic Schools PTA. Away from that, government says it is working through backroom channels to end a nationwide strike by the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, describing it as a dire situation threatening the lives of patients across the country. Speaking on PM Express on Tuesday, government spokesperson Felix Kwachi-Fosu stressed the need to restore normalcy in healthcare delivery, especially after an emergency meeting between the nurses and the ministry ended without resolution.
Indeed, somebody remarked to me that a hospital can do without doctors, but you cannot do without nurses. And this is a doctor, actually, who told me this. And so we know that they are the binding agents that holds the health delivery system together. And therefore, their presence at various hospitals is an absolute imperative. So it is deeply regrettable that they have had to call this industrial action. As governments, we have been engaged in backroom efforts to have the impasse resolved as quickly as possible so that they can go back to post and render the essential services that they are noted for. It was important that we updated the Ghanaian public on the steps being taken. One, to address the impasse itself so that the nurses can go back to work. And then two, what measures are in place to mitigate the effects on patients, because as a government, it's our responsibility to look out for their welfare and do what we can to ensure that the strike does not imperil them and put them in.
Nurses have stated they will comply with the court's directive if the substituted service secured by the National Labour Commission is properly delivered to them. Samuel Akogo is Vice President of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association.
If we get note of it, we will do the right thing. We are law-abiding citizens, and it is the law that protects everybody. But the question is whether is that the solution. It is not the solution. If the court compel us to withdraw, to stop our strike, we will do it. But will that be the solution? Don't we have the right to initiate the action at another date?
This is Joy News Desk. We'll take a break. We'll be right back with business.
Thanks for joining us for business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Ghana's economy grew by some 5.3% for the first quarter of this year. That's according to data released by the Ghana Statistical Service in Accra. The growth rate recorded for the first 3 months of this year is far higher than a little over 4% posted in the same period in 2024. The strong growth posted according to the Ghana Statistical Service was influenced by strong pickup in activities in the agricultural sector. Meanwhile, Ghana and other developing countries may face new challenges that could hinder their economic growth. This warning comes from the latest World Bank report on the global economic outlook. More details are provided in the following report.
The World Bank in the report noted that this development could hurt developing countries like Ghana and result in what could be described as triple threat, that is high debt, sluggish trade, and mounting uncertainty. The World Bank in the report also noted the slowdown has been influenced by heightened trade tension and policy uncertainty as one of the main drivers of the slow growth. Thus, the World Bank says this year, 60% of the economies are going to witness weaker growth. It also added that global growth will slow down this year and would be the slowest pace since 2008 outside of outright global recessions. The World Bank argues that turmoil has resulted in growth forecasts being cut in nearly 70% of all economies across all regions and income groups.
Now, the African Continental Free Trade Area has disputed claims that suggest that the value of intra-Africa trade currently hovers around 15 to 18%. Secretary General Wamkele Mene explained that some export domains are not included in such data. Hence, the Secretariat will provide the accurate data soon. He made the assertion at the 2025 Road to IATF Intra-Africa Trade Fair.
Secretary General of the African Continental Free Trade Area, His Excellency Wamkele Mene, at the event has been speaking on how the Secretariat intends to, provide its own accurate data. He's also been touching on the fact that, the Secretariat is planning to help sub-Saharan countries also move away from exporting primary commodities and at raw state.
By some accounts, and the accounts vary, intra-Africa trade ranges between 15 and 18%. Of course, I have a different view because I believe that the true scale of Africa's internal trade is significantly higher than the 15 to 18% range, given the prevalence of informal cross-border trade, and of course, the contribution of smallholder farmers and small medium enterprises, which is not captured in the data that we compute. So we have to provide the evidence that intra-Africa trade is higher than the range of 15 to 18%, and the AFCFTA Secretariat is working on that, and soon we shall be in a position to announce what we believe are accurate figures that express intra-Africa trade.
Chief economist at the Afrexim Bank, Dr. Iyemi Kale, at the event has also been speaking about how the bank intends to, support these local businesses to thrive amid economic challenges.
I think if you listen to the different conversations we have had today, you will see that this is not a talk shop. We are not here to speak about what Africa can do. We are here to invite Ghanaian businesses, the Ghanaian public and private sector, to come to the IATF 2025 in Algiers. Now, what we do there is not a talk shop. We are here to connect African businesses. It is a well-established fact that one of the ways the African governments, the African continent can develop very quickly is if we increase intra-African trade, if we trade more with ourselves. And that's what the IATF is all about.
The IATF roadshow, which is slated for September this year, is a roadshow that intends to deepen the intra-African trade among African countries. For Joy Business, James Ishen.
All right, and that's it for business. Handing you back to Mamesi, who has a climate focus.
Thank you, Daryl. And after 34 years of mastering his craft at Kumasi Technical Institute, Mukhtar Saidu is on a mission to harness his fabrication expertise for the greater good. His vision is to design and manufacture eco-friendly gas stoves, roasters and boilers tailored specifically for Ghanaian households. Mohammed Nuruddin reports.
Meet Mukhtar Saidu, a Ghanaian fabricator on a mission to reduce air pollution. Mukhtar believes that collective action can spark transformative change.
In a month, our team is able to manufacture about 500 stoves given our current workforce. Interestingly, we often receive customers who purchase these stoves as soon as we complete production. As you can see, our efforts are not only beneficial to individuals but also contribute positively to the country. Looking ahead, I firmly believe that within a decade, we can significantly reduce the country's reliance on firewood, thereby promoting a more sustainable and environmentally friendly practice.
According to studies, charcoal and firewood contribute to emissions, particularly in developing countries, but there is a cleaner alternative. Mokhtar says his products are durable, cost-effective, and produce less emissions.
If we continue to refine our manufacturing process, I'm confident that our product will attract an even larger customer base. The fact that many people are already purchasing and testing our products is a testament to their excellence. We've also priced our products competitively to encourage more people to try them, making them an attractive option for those in the market.
Samuel and Opoku, satisfied customers of Mokhtar, emphasize that the fight against air pollution requires a collective effort.
So if you are using this type of machine, it's far better because it's different from using charcoal, using wood. You see, right now we are in a place that we are entered a new era. So when you use these things, you see that you are okay, you are far better. The cooking makes fast, and at the same time, you see that the things that you are using to make cook will not have a problem like your cooking utensils will make dark and that kind of thing. So I think it's good.
Mokhtar stresses that everyone must play a role in reducing emissions to create a healthier environment. A report by Mohamed Nuruddin.
Climate Focus is brought to you by Joy News in partnership with Youth Bridge Foundation, Bridging Gaps for Positive Youth Development, and the Climate Development Knowledge Network.
And that's it for this edition of News Desk. I am Amisi Nyamiche Thompson. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. We'll be right back tomorrow.